Welcome to the GCN Tech Show.
Coming up this week, we have updates from Strava, details on how you could get free park tools, a limited edition Canyon, and how those ridiculous body fairings are going to be banned.
Thank goodness. We're also discussing this week what's the difference between aerospace carbon fibre and carbon fibre used on bikes.
No doubt you know, and you're going to tell us.
So what is the difference between the carbon fibre that's used in your bike and the carbon fibre that's used in helicopters, jet fighters and spaceships?
Well, I'm no expert, but I can already tell you the answer. One goes into space, one gets ridden around on the roads. Easy. Jokes aside, is it to do with...
Was that a joke?
Even Jordan laughed. Is it to do with like the quality, the strength, like how it's like the manufacturing process? Like, tell us more, come on.
Well, I recently visited a factory in Utah, and it was owned by a company called Forge and Bond. Now, they make bicycle wheels. We've got a factory tour coming out. But their parent company, CSS, which is on the same site, happens to make lots of carbon fibre components for, well, aerospace, helicopters, planes, jets, and satellites, spaceships and stuff.
Okay, so what's the difference? Is it down to things like strength then, or what?
Well, while I was there, I asked the question because I wanted to know the answer too.
Good question to ask.
Yes, and the answer surprised me.
For God's sake, are you going to tell me? Is the aerospace stuff better?
It would appear no. Well, I can't speak for everything, so there might be some super duper top secret carbon fibre material composite thing that's being used in the latest super duper top secret stealth jet fighter.
Yeah.
Can't speak for that.
Yeah.
Don't have that security clearance.
No.
But if they're making sort of commercially available things, if they're using commercially available carbon fibre, then they're getting it from the same suppliers as the bike industry, so namely the big Japanese firm Toray.
So yeah, Toray do the T1100 carbon fibre, which is pretty much, it's the same as what's used in the Pinarello F, and it's pretty much like the highest grade of pre-preg carbon fibre you can get with the like highest tensile strength.
Yeah, and well, they make a whole variety of different products, but that, like you say, that is like their best one, and that's found in the most top-end bikes. But there are many instances where if you're looking at components on helicopters and jets and stuff, they're not actually using as high a grade of pre-preg carbon fibre as that Toray 1100.
So it's a lesser grade carbon fibre?
In many instances, yes.
What?
It's not required to be that level of sort of stiffness for a lot of components.
What?
Yeah, well, and if they use sort of layup techniques, they're using the same wet layup techniques that we saw in the Look frame factory several years ago as well.
So you're actually going to get on and tell me what the hell the difference is here, because I'm still none the wiser.
Well, Alex, there are some key differences, and I think you're going to enjoy them. So the first big difference between aerospace stuff is paperwork.
Oh, my favourite difference.
And logging.
My favourite.
And as, the most organised man I know, I think you're going to really enjoy this.
I'm not that organised.
Have you seen anyone that's watched your videos, the way you have you're the kind of kid that probably got a Filofax for Christmas and got really excited.
And my birthday.
Yeah. I would have cried.
All right, yeah, okay.
Anyway,
Well.
So anyway, the logging of every single component in aerospace is absolutely insane. The level of detail that goes in means that when a component has been manufactured, at the end of that process, there is like a file, a ream of information that's logged digitally, and there's a hard copy attached to that component as well.
A backup copy, of course.
With everything in it. So this is the actual, goes right back to the batch of carbon fibre when that was manufactured, the amount of time that pre-preg was handled, and the date in which it was taken out of the freezer and used, the name of the person who handled it at every stage, the logging of the time and the weather conditions on the day and everything. And this is so because in aerospace there's just such strict regulation and such strict health and safety, and it's required, because if a component on a plane breaks, it's pretty disastrous, right?
Yeah.
And also it's there so that they can potentially spot faults that happen and fix things before it's prevention rather than the cure as well.
Kind of makes sense, but what about things like, that's all good going back if you see that there's a problem. What about things like quality control? What are they doing to check for issues once they've manufactured the part?
Well, you're right, yeah, that's the other thing as well. So within that logging of data, there's also quality control at every single step. And this is another huge difference. Whereas some bike manufacturers might X-ray every single frame they do, and they might, quality control.
Not everywhere's doing that, though, are they?
Not everywhere's doing every single frame on that level. There probably is a visual inspection on the outside, but the quality control on aerospace is next level. So they're checking for little voids in the carbon at every step. And this is crucial because the voids are little air gaps that occur when a little bit of air gets trapped in that wet layup process as you're laying one carbon layer on top of the other.
So that's going to reduce its strength slightly.
Yes, and these little gaps are little points of weakness within the composite structure, something which could be catastrophic if you're, say, building a deep water submersible.
So what happens if they do see a void in stuff?
Well, they have a tolerance level of what is acceptable, and this varies from part to part, if something's structurally critical or not. However, what is deemed acceptable in aerospace, because, if it's, say, something like a rotor blade, it's under a lot more stress than, a bike frame.
Yeah.
And so it has to, there's the level of QC is far higher, and so they will end up, if something has a void in it that's unacceptable or too many little pinhole voids, it goes in the bin.
So the level of QC for aerospace is up here,
yes,
and
and
bikes
this
might be
massively
down here.
increases the cost of those components. It's not the raw material that's increasing the cost, because that's the same. It's roughly the same. It's everything else.
What about manufacturing conditions or something? I think it's probably a difference between the two. We see a lot of bike manufacturers move across to the Far East and places like that. So is aerospace grade made in the same place as the world?
Well, this is interesting. So one of the things that also causes discrepancies between carbon fibre products is just humidity in the air, because the water in the air gets it can form a very thin layer on top of the surface of the carbon, especially when it's very cold and it comes out of the freezer. You get condensation on it straight away. And in addition to that, the sort of climatic conditions can have an impact on the end product once it's been cured and stuff. So they do temperature control and environmentally control So humidity is bad for carbon fibre? Too much humidity is bad.
Humidity.
Yeah.
So being in Utah,
it's very dry.
One of the driest places around, is that a good thing?
Well, I asked that when I was there, and they actually said it's too dry, and they actually have to. They do temperature control that facility where they're making those components. They control the climate.
Yeah.
And they have to actually have a little bit of humidity. They have humidifiers. To make it a little bit, to add some moisture content into the air, because it is zero out there.
That's kind of wild.
Yeah, but that is a big difference between what you see in Asia, and I know from talking to people and visiting factories out there that say the end weight of a carbon fibre frame can be different for the same frame just because of what time of the year, if it was made in monsoon season out in tropical Asia compared with another time of the year, or the weather, because some factories out there, high-end ones, are controlling the climate within the factory, but not all. And especially not on the sort of standard level carbon frames that you often get. So that again is a difference.
So kind of what's occurring to me is the thought of, do we think that the bike industry needs this level of quality control and logging and paperwork trails and all of this stuff? And do we need for argument's sake, if a bike has a small little void in it, do we need to just chuck it in the bin if there's no reason to do that? Or can we be a little bit more lenient? What do you think?
I think it's, with some QC things, it's just far more, like, I've wanted to say this for ages, like mission critical that a carbon fibre part going into space is kind of perfect, or one that's for a deep water submersible.
I could
it would need to be like perfect, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, the whole thing can just catastrophically fail because it's in far harsher environmental conditions. Whereas that's not the case for a bike.
No.
You can have a few little voids, pinhole voids here and there. And something else you see is like the surface finish on a carbon bike. In many instances, there might be an imperfection on the surface finish, and they just put in some epoxy filler into that and sand it over and paint over it.
Yeah, because that's like deemed to be acceptable for a bike.
Yes, because while, okay, that isn't perfect, that isn't going to... The bike companies, if it's a reputable brand, they understand what is going to cause a bike frame to structurally fail under load, and they wouldn't do it. They wouldn't bodge repair something or
probably
touch
not
up
doing
something.
that on helicopter blades or like a spaceship.
Well, yeah, that's it. They're not going to do something that's going to fail. But if it's just something that is effectively like a cosmetic blemish in the context of a bike, they'll just do a repair job.
Wow, it's a really interesting subject. I genuinely didn't know some of this stuff. Like, I don't know. I think it's kind of like, I'm intrigued to hear what everyone else has to say about it more than anything.
Yeah. But it is insane. Like, when we were over in Tucson, we also rode in the police chopper out there.
Of course you did.
Yeah. It was pretty cool. But they were telling us about the police chopper as we got out of it. One of the technicians who was working on it was saying, oh yeah, like the rotor blades need to be replaced in like X number of flying hours and stuff. They're made of carbon fibre, and it was crazy that that was all logged, and that component had all that data and the service life, and that was all logged by Bell, who made the helicopter. And then they
so it was like a consumable part. They were like, it's done 80 hours worth of flying, right, get new ones on.
Yeah.
What? Imagine if, I don't know, Canyon, Pinarello, any bike manufacturer you wanted, sent you an email like I can see via your Strava that you've done 10,000 kilometres this year, your bike's no good anymore. Better get a new one.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That's wild.
But it's far more. It's because if a bike frame cracks, because it's got too old and it's beyond its service life, that's. You often don't get catastrophic failures. You know when that's going to fail before it catastrophically fails, and I think they're incredibly rare.
Massive companies are pretty good at judging levels of risk, aren't they?
Yeah. And bike frames are arguably in many instances over-engineered, whereas, the potential catastrophic failure of a helicopter rotor blade is pretty horrific.
Yeah.
But the thing is, what do you guys sort of think about this? Of course, if you had this level of rigour and QC in the bike industry, it would make everything ridiculously expensive, even more expensive than it already is.
We don't want to be driving prices up. We want to be driving them down, but staying safe. So, there's our thoughts on it. Let us know what you think of the whole subject in the comment section down below. As always, we'll pick out the best ones
Just
for
think
next
how
week.
cheap bikes could be if we totally did away with health and safety.
Imagine it in some big board meeting. Guys, I've got a solution to getting the price down. Quality control, you're out of here. We're just going straight from manufacturing, factory floor to customer. Job done.
Time now for Hot Tech, and we're going to begin this week with some Strava news.
It's also a little bit spicy, even though you didn't call it hot and spicy tech, but whatever, we can forgive you. So there's two options here when it comes to messaging, which Strava have now launched within the app. So now you can just message people directly in the app. You can go direct, or you can have group messages. So there's two different options here.
Have you slid into anyone's DMs yet on Strava?
No, as of yet, I haven't messaged a single person on Strava, nor has anyone messaged me.
Really?
Yeah, so I'm feeling a little bit lonely. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'll create a little group message that we can have afterwards, and we can just chat to each other on Strava. So
is this available as a free thing on Strava for everyone, or is it just paid subscribers?
Yeah, as far as I know, I think it is, the update should apply to everybody, and you have a little icon on your home screen up in the top right corner, click on it, And there's a few like simple rules you can follow. You can choose your privacy settings, whether you're allowed to message people that you both follow, people that you follow can only message you, or I think there's an option where you can just be like, no, nobody speak to me. So that's an option as well. Strava say, let me get this right, messaging bridges the gap between tactical planning and meaningful engagement, embodying Strava's commitment to empowering athletes and fostering a thriving community. It's a catalyst for real-time connections and discussions to transform athletes' experiences. That was quite fancy, that. A lot of wording going on there. But it's pretty cool. Why not? It's another good way to get people out riding bikes, enjoying, sharing what they enjoy.
Yeah, cool.
Right, next up we have free park tools. Well,
Yes.
kind of. It's not like free for everybody. So this is the community tool grant, which Park Tools do every year. So you can go onto their website, and if you're a non-profit organisation, you can apply to have a grant, and Park Tools are going to decide who they dish them out to, and it consists of a kit to help keep everyone's bikes working along nice, which I think is pretty cool.
That is really cool.
Looking here, there's 10 grants that are given out every single year. You receive over $1,600 worth of Park Tools. You've got a professional mechanic kit, repair stands, shop aprons, big repair book so that you actually know how to repair the bike.
Yeah.
And it's open until 31st December, so you've got a few weeks left to get into there.
Yeah. So if you have like a community-based bike project or that's like non-for-profit, that's helping people get on bikes, apply for that grant. Try and get some Park Tools. That's wicked.
Oh, I'm going to be really jealous, actually. I could do with updating my tool set at home. That'd be lovely. What? Free tools for everybody. Right, anyway, CTT has made some updates to fairings on bikes.
Yes.
Tell us more about it, Ollie.
So you cast your mind back to the National 10-Mile Time Trial Championship in the UK, which was won, right, by some people who were using body fairings.
Yeah,
so we've got these photos of Rich Bussell, who is an absolute weapon, but he was covered in these fairings. You can see there's like one's on his legs and his arms and stuff, and they look horrendous. They absolutely look horrendous. But it was one of those things where it was like a loophole, and we love a reach around the rules.
Yes.
And it was they actually did it to make a point that this is something that needs to be banned.
Yeah.
And so, and it actually has been, which is good. Because it was going to get stupid.
I mean, I think it had already surpassed what is deemed as normal.
Well, the other thing that I wasn't a fan of was the aero bellies being employed. So people were putting down, and we showed this in a tech video.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, by putting like something
like
down
a hydration
yeah, like
pack.
a hydration pack, you were significantly
so
more.
CTT is saying that that's not actually banned, provided you could prove that you're using it for hydration.
Yeah, and the key thing is they do ultra endurance time trials, 12-hour, 24-hour. So for that, it would be useful to have some hydration.
Yeah.
But
well, at least we're trying to keep people looking like humans on a bike. And then finally, in Hot Tech this week, Canyon have released a limited edition version of the Aeroad CFR. It's called the Cosmos, and I think it looks absolutely wild.
Yeah.
It's like black with like a space dust effect across it, like holographic looking logos and text all over the frame. I think it's incredible. I potentially like it a little bit more than my Hot Salsa Aeroad.
paint job of the week.
Yeah, it's definitely paint job of the week.
That's not a thing, but it can be.
It is now. There's no prizes. We're not giving Canyon a prize for making paint job of the week. More Hot Tech next week. Now it's time for the bike vault. Where's the bike vault bell?
What are you talking about?
Oh, comments. Bloody hell, that's how keen I am for the bike vault. Comments of the week. Let's hit it.
Right, time now for comments of the week. First up is from last week's show, Martin Dirk Zimmer commenting about the bike vault. We need a 10-hour bike vault special with Ollie overanalyzing the bloop out of every photo.
That is what we need.
I don't think we do.
What, it needs to be longer?
John Gannon 1 next.
Yeah, I'll go. It says, I'm keen on Alex's ideas for categories that level the playing field, or cycling course, and I think the same should apply to GCN with a section of content focused on good value ways to get into cycling. and bike of the people has to be a Boardman. Brackets, total bias. That's my first proper bike. Well, we try and do like budget-friendly stuff. Maybe we should just try harder and do more budget-friendly videos if we can.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I do love the super like nerdy high-end tech stuff, but budget's great too.
Well, it's cool to see stuff. It's like, you know, like on Top Gear, you'd always see Ferraris and Porsches.
Yeah.
And that's because they're really cool, and so we want to show that. But it's nice to show budget stuff as well.
They'd also do Ford Fiestas and stuff, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, on the tyres video that you did.
Yeah.
Good job, Felix.
I was never going to get tired of that joke, is it?
GCN convinced me last winter to start paying more attention to tyres and air pressure. Huge difference.
It does. It's the most important thing to get right on your bike. Well, one of. Martin Anderson says, I currently have 240 studs per tyre on my commuter bike. I ride to work on ice and snow, and it's great practice for your bike handling skills. Rest of the year, GP 5000s until somebody comes up with a better product. Thumbs up, they said. Yeah. Lots of people pointed this out, that their winter commuting tyre literally had studs in so they could get there.
I think that's because, we
don't have snow in the
Our
UK
winters
very
are
often.
crap. They're just wet and grey and cold and windy. So we don't get much snow. But we do know that, a lot of you guys are viewing from places where you do get snow.
When we get snow in the UK, everyone goes into like a blind panic.
I'd love to do like a snow ride thing, because I've never really done it.
Well, if it snows, I'll make you some studded tyres ASAP. I'll make studded tyres ASAP for you if it snows, and you can go out cycling. I'll ride Zwift. Underneath the titanium video, where we did a bit of a deep dive into
with Tom Sturdy.
With Tom Sturdy. Well, first comment is from Kyle. They say, "Great video, Alex. More like this, please. It's good to see."
Who's
bikes.
Alex?
I don't know. Must be someone. Must have got the name wrong. Be good to see bikes aren't carbon fibre. Aero race bikes covered on GCN. There's so much more to cycling. Yeah, there is.
100%.
Yeah.
Totally agree with that. And then Swee Creations says, love this guy. He's the clearest example of an engineer at heart. None of the marketing BS.
I'm going to assume they were talking about Tom.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Could be you.
Could be me.
Could be you.
Could be. I'm going to just think that.
That's it for comments.
Right.
Time for the bike vault.
Yeah, it's actually time for the bike vault now.
Right, what was
the most
super nice bike last week? Here's with it.
It was DJ Ricardo with this S-Works Specialized Tarmac.
Gold chain.
Gold chain. So it took them almost 2 years to build it. And in the middle of building it, they suffered a stroke, partially lost their vision.
What?
Right? But turns out they've recovered enough to ride again, and here is their bike. Fair blooming play.
That could be a film.
It could be a film.
Yeah.
That's really impressive. Good on you as well, and it's a mega bike.
Although, I'm going to Supernice that, okay?
Yeah.
Just one criticism, the saddle angle.
Yeah, saddle angle could be a little bit better. Super nice.
Cool.
First in, we have JF Phillips with a Planet X Pro Carbon Ultegra.
Needs some Ron Seal, that fence, doesn't it?
Fence not looking great. Bike looking on point, though.
Yeah.
We happy with the bike?
Yeah, super nice.
Super nice. Next, what we got?
We've got...
Zavadu.
Zavadu.
Yeah.
Zavadu.
Cervelo. They're estimating the year 2000. Do you reckon that's 2000?
Around that era, yeah. You don't see American classic wheels much anymore.
No.
Well, I mean, there's a lot going on here. It's in a stand. The cranks are in a weird place. It's in a weird gear.
Would you describe the bar tape as military green?
That is a clash that I couldn't live with. Even though I'm colourblind, I can see that one.
Still to this day, 3 years into this job, I don't know if you're lying that you can't see colours.
I'm colourblind. Yeah.
I just don't believe you.
What are you talking about?
Well, I'm just not sure I believe you. I feel like you're winding me up all the time. Anyway, we'll move on from this purple Cervelo. Yeah.
That's a nice.
Okay, so nice.
P. Kearney.
What
Look at this.
Got? Bianchi Impulso.
Says he's been riding it in lots of... Oh, wow. Top of the Stelvio.
I was going to say, where do you think this has been taken? I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another bad joke from me, sorry.
That is under, like, about 2 meters of snow, that bike now. right now.
Or if it was still there.
I hope he didn't leave it there.
Yeah.
Because I've seen the webcam footage at the top of the Stelvio.
I really like this bike. I'm having to zoom in a little bit to see it because it's quite a wide image. But I really do like that. I like that group set. Campag, silver, like rim
That is
brake,
a cool bike to ride
cool
to the top
colour.
of the Stelvio.
Can we Supernice that?
I think we can, because it's making me feel happy, because it's reminding me of the top of the Stelvio, which I love.
Good.
Magnus Knutson Bjork.
Okay.
Save some of the names for everyone else. Jeez.
Damali SL6 Gen 4. Fair play on propping your bike up.
What have you
with
propped it up with there?
I don't know.
Is that like an avocado or something?
Giant
What
peanut.
is that?
Is it a potato? I think it's propped up with a potato.
Comment down below what you think that is. Is it an avocado? A potato?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Bike's cool though. Valve's not aligned. Obviously the cranks are in the wrong position. It's not in the right
That's
gear.
because it's propping it up.
Yeah. I kind of almost want to let it slide, but I don't know if I can let it slide because a shadow stand exists instead of a potato.
Or avocado.
Or avocado.
Or pine cone. Throwing that one in the mix. Is it a pine cone? Not many trees in the area. Anyway, I think that is I'm going to go...
You lead on this one, you lead on it.
I'm going to go nice on that one.
Okay.
There you go.
Right, last one this week is from Cyclist31 with...
Ooh.
Oh, look at this. Very moody.
Scott Addict, RC, nighttime ride
Yeah.
with lights. While that is a cool photo, and it is a really cool photo,
Yeah, that's absolutely boss.
it's just not, I can't see the bike.
No.
So it's a nice.
Yeah. Can't let the rules slip on the last one. Yeah, it's just a nice from us. That means the show's drawn to a close. It's been great fun as always. Ollie, I've loved you sharing your tech knowledge with me and everybody at home. Please, let's have more of it next week. Right, do get involved in the comments section down below. As always, if you want to support what we do, like this video and subscribe to GCN Tech. We're out of here.
Love you, bye.
Bye.